7 Pirates Age is Eastasiasoft's newest release on the Nintendo Switch, but the game was originally available on the PlayStation Vita. This lewd RPG is officially the 4th entry in the GenkaiTokki series, and the 3rd one on the Nintendo Switch. With that said, players shouldn't be too concerned with this game having many storyline connections with the previous entries. There really aren't any, more like connecting overlying themes, and of course, the lovable Otan. Switch players should also know that this entry includes all of the previously available DLC that simply put some of the extra grinding aspects away. All of these extra goodies are neatly toggleable in the extra contents option in the title screen, so you can choose to opt in if you want them or not. Another addition is the higher set of resolutions, faster loading times, and the cleaned up textures from the Vita counterpart. The story revolves around a pirate named Kairi, who of course got amnesia, and quickly ignores that as she finds herself in a new environment where she meets Otan. They team up and set off to find treasure as pirates would, but not without the newly found knowledge that size, shape, and form of your boobs will give you power, which depending on your taste could easily make or break your enjoyment of this game, but let's be frank, it's rated M for a reason. Kairi and Otan then proceed to meet all type of monster girls as the series often does, and she forms her very own swashbuckling crew to amass all the treasure her ship can hold. It's a simple, silly, and mainly focused on comedic and fan-servicey story that fans of the series will feel accustomed to, where newcomers may shirk or even cringe at some of the premises thrown around. The main culprit of this being the booby training. Let's say it's a feature/minigame. So in a traditional RPG, you simply gain levels for your characters and get stronger in the process. 7 Pirates Age has a curveball approach to this, where Otan simply teaches the girls that a certain type of massage could grant them powers via different stats. So handheld players will have the option to use the touchscreen controls to do gestures. Meanwhile, if you're using Joy-Cons or a Pro Controller, docked can simply use the thumbsticks. What you do is simply mimic circular motions clockwise or counterclockwise if you want to do specific stats to go up. There's also the option to go any direction away to buff different stats as well. This is done essentially every time you want to level up, because when you do that, instead of gaining experiences, you're gaining extracts. Once enough extracts is gathered, you can use it to choose which stats you want to go up. It can be funny, annoying, cumbersome, or simply put you over the top, but is ultimately pretty much expected for this type of franchise. There's also a much quicker and simpler egg breaking option that uses the same mechanic. Eggs are just basically a type of item drop, and breaking them can net you some rare rewards. Exploration is done from an overworld map, where you move the ship around to different markers to either starting conversations between characters, which are all voiced in Japanese and there's no dub here, while finding the dungeons to pillage. Another reason why you want to take your time in exploring the overworld is to discover the booby kins. These are the game's way to allow you to purchase, sell, craft, and do side missions. Boobykins are a special type of creatures with knowledge of the world, so finding more of them will open up new avenues of crafting better materials, getting better recipes for items, to buy up, or even doing requests where you can get better request rewards to then exchange for more powerful items. It's a rather straightforward feature that gives completionists way more goals to achieve. Once you're in a dungeon, you'll be exploring in a third-person perspective with monsters walking about. You can do the typical sneak up on them to get a preemptive first strike, or if they run into you, they will go first. You can also find plenty of treasure chests and shining drops for even more rewards. Combat transitions are instant, and once you engage with a monster, you'll notice that the bottom of the screen has action timelines showing on who's gonna attack next, so you can plan out your attacks if you need to. There's 5 main options to choose from: attack, which is the base attack towards the creature; item, which will let you use any combat ready items; defend, which allows you to shield yourself and reduce the amount of incoming damage on the next monster strike; run, if you wish to leave an encounter; and of course, skills, where each one of the monster girls not only has an element but allows them to dish out attacks based on them to do either buffs, debuffs, heals, and plenty more. To use any of your MP, and no, MP does not actually stand for magic points or even mana points. It stands for Muramura points, which of course is yet another in-joke for the franchise. If you happen to raise your Muramura points to 200 during any encounter, you'll notice that one of the girls enters an arousal state. This lets you do a rather powerful attack at the cost of all of your points, and each girl has a special attack of this nature. It is worth mentioning that the game also offers an auto battle option, so you can toggle that if you're grinding for essence or you're simply looking to complete rewards. Performance on the Nintendo Switch is extremely good. There's no frame drops to be found or hitching anywhere. Visually, the game looks great on the OLED, but I did also check it out on my Nintendo Switch Lite, and the visuals and text look great, so there's no complaints there. Seven Pirates H is a game that stands true to the franchise's roots and doesn't make any compromises. The Switch version is now the definitive edition of this title, and if you're not too shy about some of its loot aspects, there's certainly a solid RPG to be found here. Nintendo Fear gives Seven Pirates H on the Nintendo Switch a 7.5 out of 10. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.